past several years, I've gotten student email and work email sent to the same inbox, okay? But they're two different email addresses. So in my head, I always thought they were still like two separate emails, just sort of like filtered for convenience into my same inbox. Well, it turns out that that's not actually the case. So I quit my job on like a few weeks ago on a Friday. And the reason I quit, by the way, is because I need to complete a few internships to complete my master's degree, for those of you who don't know again. So I quit my job a few Fridays ago and realized at 6 p.m. that I suddenly was locked out of all of my, basically all of everything. Like I was not able to log in to any of my accounts. Again, mind you, I was both a staff member and a student. So as a student, I'm freaking out like, oh my god, I can't access my accounts. So I email ITS like, hey, I've been locked out, but I'm a student and I need to be able to access this, right? I emailed them on a Saturday, and then by Sunday, I was able to log in again. Awesome, right? You'd think so, but no, because when I logged into my student email address, I found no emails. None. Zero emails were in that inbox. So all of the emails that I have received as a student over the past several years were all gone, which is a big problem because some of those emails contain important information for my upcoming internships, for example, and just like really cool resources that professors have shared with me over the course of the years that I never even thought about transferring over to my new computer, which we'll get to in a second. Just because, I mean, it was in my email. They were two separate email inboxes. There never should have been a problem. But there is. So, one of the things that I did this past week was, actually it was yesterday, I sat on the phone with the institution's ITS, so a guy who was super friendly and helpful, and so we were on the phone with each other for 1 hour. 1 hour. Just like, basically, they thought that they had found a way to download the contents of my previous account so that I would be able to download it to my computer and import it to my Outlook, right? However, after we sat on the phone for an hour just chatting about life, you know, and like getting to know each other, I swear, like we formed a bond or a friendship or whatever. After an hour, like I expected things to go well because it seemed like things were working, but we found out that instead of downloading my email inbox, what they had actually downloaded was every like private message that I had sent to my team members. Not private. I mean, like, you know, we have a messaging system that we use, Teams, Microsoft Teams. So every Teams message that I'd ever sent my team and the Teams message that they'd sent me, those were everything that was downloaded, or I guess imported, into my Outlook. And so not only was it the wrong thing, but I also had like a rude awakening of like, oh shit, like all the things that we post online, like none of that ever goes away, even if you think it's been deleted. Like there's a way for some ITS crazy person. They were really just trying to help, and they were awesome, and they weren't snooping on me at all. But they're able to bring that back from the tech netherworld. So I just wanted to let you all know that. And upgrade in the memory, in the storage, in the actual like computer, the actual device. So I always just expected to do that, but the only one that they had there, had that upgrade. So instead of 265 or 264 gigs, it was 1 terabyte. Huge upgrade. And so what I ended up doing is just comparing the price, because the thing about like Apple is that they of course charge you through the nose for everything, and so that kind of an upgrade was like several $100s more expensive than just like getting the base model, right? So I checked online to see how much it would be if I were to just like bite the bullet, order it online, and wait for it to come. And it turns out that because there was no sales tax in the state we were in, it was actually only going to be about $250 more expensive to get it there versus waiting for it to come. And don't get me wrong, $250 is a huge amount of money, especially now that I'm basically unemployed. But like the thought of having to wait another several weeks was just too much to bear. I had already edited 2 videos on my fiance's older MacBook Pro, and I mean, that machine is wonderful when it comes to like word processing, or even using it for music production. Like, he uses Logic on it quite a bit, and it's totally fine for that. But for video rendering, especially if it has like any kind of additional power requirements, like if you're doing anything with green screen, or if you need to crop the image for whatever reason, it just does not handle it well. So I had I had edited 2 videos on his machine, and it took 2.5 hours to render a 17-minute video. 2.5 hours to render a 17-minute video. Granted, I had cropped the image on the entirety of that video, so I know that always takes additional processing power, but still, like 2.5 hours for 17 is kind of absurd, and I just didn't want to be about that life anymore for another several weeks. Plus, like, it would mean like he wouldn't be able to work when I was working, which is sort of like when both of us work, we're typically both working at the same time. So he would have needed his laptop. So I just decided to buy it right then and there. And so I was in and out of the Apple store basically in 10 minutes, because I knew exactly what I wanted. They had it, I compared the prices, and then I just like handed over my Apple card and gave them a lot of my money. And I know a lot of you out there are going to be like, why would you spend so much on an Apple when PCs are like way more powerful? professional musician that's doing this full time and is like, this is a whole like job for them, of course I would have business cards. But I don't. I've never had business cards for my vocal work. So I thought, since I'm not working right now, I could use some of this time to invest in that sort of professional growth. So recently I've been designing a business card for myself. And so here's the tip. Do it on Canva and print it through Canva. Okay? So I haven't actually done it yet, but when you compare the prices of getting it printed through Canva versus going through one of the business card, like the basic business card printing companies, it's so much cheaper to do it on Canva. I was looking at a different company and they were trying to charge me like $40 for 100 business cards, whereas going through Canva, even with upgrades for like a glossy coat and all that, like it was only like $25 for 100. And so here's an extra tip for any of you out there that may be getting married soon. Canva, like you can actually design wedding invitations on Canva, which I don't know why I'd never thought of this before until I was doing the business cards. But you can design wedding invitations on Canva, and similarly to getting your business card printed, you can also get cards printed on Canva, and they deliver to your door. They include envelopes, and again, it is way cheaper. Now, of course, it's not going to be as fancy as you might get on more specialized websites that like really do wedding invitations, but like if you think about it, there's like maybe 5 people are going to save your wedding invitations, maybe 3, like you, your parents, and your fiance's parents or guardians or whatever. Like everybody else is eventually gonna throw away your wedding invites, and so just the thought of spending all that money for something that's just gonna be discarded and thrown away is appalling to me. So why not do it in a cheaper way? We weren't honest to God, we weren't even gonna do physical wedding invitations, and we still may not for the majority of people, but for maybe some of the older members of our family, the people that are closest to us, who we think would probably cherish that kind of a physical invitation, we probably will end up doing at least like 50 of them, and it is so much cheaper to just do it on Canva. So that's my tip for you